All right. All right, good. Now I say that we are actually live. So, hi, Sylvia, dear. You're always the first one here. You reminded me of my beloved Chris. So, namaste, everyone. What an incredible moment in life. What an incredible time. Akasha here, Nan Akasha. Thank you for joining me for the spiritual weather report for October 3rd of 2022. So, we're going into the really juicy, rich roller coaster month of October, which is going to end with the big eclipse. And it is hitting my chart, so I pay close attention to eclipses. You want to make sure. I talk about a combination of it's intuitive reading, it's energetic reading, it's symbols and energies, and looking at them individually and blending them together. So there's astrology. I tell you certain things like it's going to be the full moon, and Mercury just went direct yesterday, but it takes about 2 weeks. Why do these matter? Because spiritual weather report is supposed to be about cosmic energies, about all the energies we live inside of, we live with, we are one of. And how are they affecting us, or how could we flow with them rather than fight them? And my dear friend Donna Stellhorn is a wonderful astrologist, and she came on the show recently with her new tarot course, so you might want to look at that. She's just adorable. But we were talking about the volatility of what's happening. And what's happening is it really depends on many different factors. This factor, but with that factor, and that factor, but with this factor. So we look at that and we say, what can you do this week? What can you think about? How can you look at what's been happening? So sometimes it's good to go back and listen to last week's, or maybe if you're like, something started around the beginning of August, you could go back and look at a spiritual weather report from then, because we repeat patterns and cycles. So one of the things that you're going to see is this eclipse will be related to the previous eclipse and maybe a year ago eclipse. And sometimes those are the bookends on a pattern or a chapter, or you'll see something disappear from your life and reappear and be reborn. So it depends, because this week we have the full moon and we have Pluto going direct, and Pluto holds the energy of being the god of the underworld, death and rebirth. So it's been in retrograde a long time. I think 6 months or something, like maybe not quite. And what does that mean? Well, that means that when Pluto goes into retrograde, it does what? Retrograde isn't bad. It means, to me, that energy, like Mercury, really easy to understand. Mercury is a messenger. So the energy of your messages, your intuitive messages, how are they getting to you? Are you opening and developing your intuition, like in the Intuition Awakening class or the upcoming certification class that starts Saturday on sale? There's a flash sale right now in the shop, so you want to go check that out. And there's that energy, so Mercury being your messenger, when it's in retrograde, which it's been for a month or something, it's now turning direct. It's taking a little bit of time. It's like sort of turning around, walking out the door, picking up the things, starting to go out. But when it's in retrograde, it comes in. It's like sitting with you. It's like whispering. It's going in your subconscious. It's digging around in the basement. Hey, do you remember you had this? So you've had messages, whether you know it or not, over the last 3-4 weeks, coming from deeper within you, deeper in your heart, deeper in your past, deeper in your other lives, deeper in your soul, deeper into a particular pain or contract, maybe in the throat area, wherever it's living. All right. So when you have the opportunity to understand, oh, I'm kind of in that phase, it doesn't mean because we knew we were in Mercury retrograde, we heard every message. Sometimes messages are delivered and they're meant to sit unopened, like a juicy letter that you wait to the end. Remember when we used to get actual physical mail? Never happens. And so, if you wait to open that beautiful card, later. So we don't consciously know everything that's happening within our lives, our body, the universe, the multiverse, every life we have in every soul, all the different chakras we have. They're like grand central station, stuff's coming in and out, and hopefully in a fairly balanced way, right? And so all these things is, we're just the tip of the pyramid. We're the capstone. We're the tip. We're the point person for all of this energy, and there's a lot going on. So instead of trying to figure it out, we want to be receptive. So when we've been in that receptive phase, that stage, we want to realize now that Mercury is turning around and starting to go out into the, I'm holding the rosemary incense, starting to go forward again, quote unquote, in our perception, in our relationship. It didn't go backwards in retrograde, right? It just looked like it did. And then it's going to be like that, turning around and starting to leave. And at that point, there might be some few last messages that came up yesterday or today or tomorrow. And then it's going to be more like watching go out and pick up speed. And then where your message is going to be coming from, well, you're still going to see them coming up from within, because there's going to be things that start to go, oh, that's what that was. I didn't know what that was. And you start to realize something, okay? Or you have a release. And your ahas, your releases, are the message bubbling to the surface. So as Mercury is going out over the next 2 weeks, that means that your messages are going to start to come from not outside of you necessarily, but of course they do. They come through people, they come through messages on the billboard, they come through whatever. They also come from expanded parts of you. Like, okay, now I'm going to go out and tell you what's going on out here, what's coming up ahead. And the energies in October could be called volatile, could be called disruptive, erupt. I kept hearing erupt, disruptive. And yet what we have really is just a roller coaster, and roller coaster is life. If you're decided to have the honor of being in a body in this three-dimensional space, then you have to recognize you came from the first dimension. You're a descended God in the sense that you've come into the 3D, but you are multidimensional. You exist in every level, okay?